Happy birthday, America. Mornings on the show at ToddTaxpayer.com, the #1 podcast for critical thinkers.
Welcome back to Mornings on the Show at ToddTaxpayer.com. Well, I know many of you have been inquiring where we've been, and, well, we had to do a little reformatting and up the production values. I basically said, I'm not doing Mornings on the Show again until we get these production problems up to par, up to standards. And that includes the golden microphone. They couldn't get the golden microphone going. And I just told them, no, I'm not doing the show again. Not doing Mornings on the Show again. This is what I told the producers and crew, until you get the golden microphone going. And apparently it's working. So that's good. Big first step. Also, our little banner here. We wanted to make sure the banner was available as a background. There's nothing against the American flag. Not at all. We just want the branding. Branding's important if you're going to survive in this business. If you can call it survival, oh my. Also, another announcement here. We sold a couple mugs. Yeah. Whew, that came out of nowhere. I don't even know who it was. But we have a brand new one. Now, check that out. It's the Happy 250 America mug. Now, I have to tell you, we've already had a few people who have reported fake merchandise being hawked on the internet from this show. Can you believe that? We haven't even started. We've got a ton of stuff we've got in the pipeline here. And somebody's already copying what we're doing. That's why we're the #1 podcast for critical thinkers. Because they all copy what we are doing. So here it is. The Happy 250 America cup that we put together. This is a limited time. If you're interested in getting one of these, you want to get it right away. Because it's not going to be... It's not going to be on the website forever, ToddTaxpayer.com. And just so you know it's real, right there is my signature, okay? My signature is on the cup, so you know it's a 100% authentic Mornings on the Show coffee mug. You can join us with some of that Pete's coffee. We've got to get that on the website too. So welcome back to Mornings on the Show. We've got a good one for you. We put a lot of effort into this one. It's a big day here at Mornings on the Show. Coming up on the big story, data centers. Yeah. Data centers have suddenly emerged as the big issue in Nevada. I don't care if you're in Yerington, Story County, Washoe County, Clark County. Data centers are all over the place. I'm not starting here with any bias or opinion. No, I'm not. Listen, I have been involved in technology for 30 years and a big champion and proponent of the internet, and used to have my own data center when it was actually just data. I guess you could say I remotely have a small data center right now. I mean, it's a co-data center. I mean, we're all guilty of feeding the robots. So coming up today on the big story, the robots are coming, and we've got some amazing opinions on data centers. So stick around for that coming up on Mornings on the Show. By the way, brought to you by the Price Genie. Sorry. PriceGenie.com. Sign up for the magic lamp. It's why it's the #1 podcast for critical thinkers. Don't forget, you are the show. Now, one of the changes is we're not doing the call-in live on X. And I'll tell you why. You didn't want that. Overwhelmingly, what people enjoy doing more is commenting either on YouTube or X with a video response. Well, they do the text ones, but the video is where it's at. Like if you want to comment on something we're doing here on the show, give us a video response. you'll implicitly be giving us permission to use it all the time. So please join the conversation. We're very interested. Video comments are always welcome on X and YouTube here at Mornings on the Show. You can also visit ToddTaxpayer.com and leave just a text comment if you want. Also, people have been hitting me up. Hey, I heard you're going to be giving away some of those Mornings on the Show mugs. How do I win that? Well, one thing I'm not going to do, I will not authorize the production team here to do, is to put a link on ToddTaxpayer.com that says, click here to win. No, I'm not going to do that. No, you just jump in the comments. There's a place to make a comment. Jump in there and just, fill it out and just say, hey, I want to win a mug. Make a comment about the show or not, but you have to type in there. See, I want people who actually are watching Mornings on the Show to win the mug. Not just every AI referral on the internet. There's some people who just type in win to their robot and it'll run off and start finding things where they can win. I don't want that. I want the people who are actually involved with the Mornings on the Show to win the mug. So there you go. Just go to the comments section right on ToddTaxpayer.com. And that's where you just say, hey, I want to win a mug. Because I'm not making it any easier than that. Time for the rundown. Mornings on the Show. Number one story we're following. This is what's driving everything, okay? The price of oil up. Today, $79.04. It's about $4 more than it was last week. Every time we have to bomb a little speedboat or drone factory, price goes up a little bit. It's not going to last forever. They don't have that many factories. They definitely don't have that many speedboats left. President Trump even said, hey, next week, get your bridges and your power plants. Does anybody remember that video in Tehran when some of the bombs hit a oil storage facility in Tehran, and the oil had gotten into the sewer system, and then it started igniting? And so in Tehran there was all these videos of people screaming and running as flames started shooting up from the sewers. Like, this could be the future. And complete darkness. They already have power problems. They have to, in Tehran, a city of what, 30 million people? You have to go to like your neighborhood community well. Like, there's a faucet in your neighborhood where you go fill up your water jugs for the day, because they can't guarantee a water supply. Sometimes they have to bring in water trucks. It's kind of like South Africa. Well, here in northern Nevada, for the first time in history, a Democrat is leading in the congressional race in northern Nevada's CD2. Yes. Or at least that was the question. Now, I put it out on my X account. I'm not sure. I'm not going to ask the robot this one. I don't trust the robot on this one. But I simply said, true or false? Answer below. Is it true or false? Is this the first time in history that a Democrat is leading a Republican after the primaries in Nevada CD2? Is this first time in history that's happened? The latest poll, and these things can change overnight. We've seen that. But in the latest poll, Teresa Benitez Thompson, a northern Nevada resident, former Miss Nevada. I'm not sure if the Flippo team knew that. Former Miss Nevada, currently 48% in that race to David Flippo, 46%, who, as you all know, is the Republican candidate. So as of today, he's 2 points behind. Now, I'm going to share a little personal story here. Before the Republican primary for CD, there was many of us here in Reno who were scratching our heads, like, who are we going to put out there? And we actually didn't even think about Teresa Benitez Thompson on the other side. We didn't know. But the fact of the matter is, for years, easily 7 or 8 years, local polling that the Reno Gazette-Journal has done showed that any Democrat candidate was about 1 point to 2 points behind any Republican candidate. So it's really important to have the right people on the ticket if you're going to win. It's that kind of a purple district, especially here in Washoe County. And so we were scratching our heads like, who? And as I was talking to one of the potential candidates, I'm not going to mention any names, but I mentioned this poll. And this individual responded, well, yeah, of course, until you get some names on there, and then that makes all the difference.
Help me out. Defend me on social media.
Right. So now we have 2 names on the ballot, Teresa Benitez Thompson and David Flippo. And my question is this the first time in history, after a primary, that a Republican is behind 2 points on the Democrat? The Democrat's leading by 2 points in Nevada Congressional CD2. Is this the first time in history? I don't know. Well, this is an old story that I didn't get to cover, but it's pretty funny. The Obama Presidential Library, turns out, is not a library. First of all, have you ever been to a presidential library? It really depends which president, right? And it depends on where you go, and it depends how well funded it is. But it can be something as simple as 1 or 2 little buildings on a grassy lawn. Like, I've been to some very modest presidential libraries. Now, that's not true for the Reagan Library, and that's not true for the Bushes. Okay, I get that. And I think that's what drove the Obama presidential. But here's the difference. When you go to those other presidential libraries, there's actually a library. Like, you can actually go there and do research. You can look at their papers. You can do things that you normally just couldn't do. A lot of them have moved this to the internet, of course. At the Reagan one, they've got an airplane that President Reagan used to fly around in. But it doesn't have to be that elaborate. But they're all libraries, except for the Obama Presidential Library. So what do they have at the Obama Presidential Library? Well, it's sort of a democratic socialist incubator. It really is, okay? They can do practice rioting at the courthouse. Yeah, they got a little courthouse there, and you kind of run through some drills about what it's like to be outside of a courthouse having a riot. Kind of like a siege drill. There's seminars on doublespeak. Now, for those of you who don't know from the movie 1984 or the book, if you've read it, doublespeak is where you take a word and turn it upside down until it means the exact opposite. Maybe come up with a brand new word that means the exact opposite. But it's kind of a lie. That's why they call it doublespeak. And in the movie, the main character's job was to go backwards to old news articles and apply doublespeak to them so it met the party's standards, so to speak. Yeah. You know, a cab driver who lives next door to the Obama Presidential Library, he was just like, thank God they're done. Maybe I can get some sleep again after 7 years. Former CIA agent, Senator Slotkin, Democrat from Michigan. You know, something happened. Something happened back in the day when Michigan was very industrialized. Something got in the water. Because look at all the politicians that have come out of there. And former CIA agent, Senator Slotkin, Democrat from Michigan, spoiled it. She came out against the SAVE Act, okay? Now, the SAVE Act is where you have to prove you're a citizen of the United States before you can vote. Now, you can do that with an ID, like a real ID that everybody has to carry around when they go buy a bottle of booze or drive a car, get on an airplane. You just take that same ID and you show that at the voting place, and they just wave you right through. It's called voter ID. It's part of the SAVE Act, okay? Okay? No more mail-in ballots. No. Well, Senator Slotkin gave a speech, and she said absolutely she is opposed to that, and we absolutely can't let the SAVE Act pass, and we defeated it because, quote, it'll be hard for any Democrat to get elected, unquote.
The other thing that we blocked yesterday was the SAVE Act, right? Which was literally allow this administration to rig our democracy so that it would be hard for any Democrat in any state to win any election.
She just spoke the truth. She just spoke the truth. If we check everyone's ID at the door before people can vote, it'll be hard for any Democrat to get elected. What? Huh? Well, President Trump isn't, Senator Lindsey Graham, God rest his soul, was going to push the SAVE Act. He would, reconciliation, whatever it was going to take. He wanted the SAVE Act. He was going to make a real... And then suddenly he passed away. God rest his soul. But President Trump isn't wasting any time. He's going to make an address to the nation Thursday night on election integrity. So we'll see what he has to say. That's going to be Thursday night. We'll bring you those comments. But, Senator Slotkin's a no bueno on that one, because it'll be too hard for a Democrat to get elected, which, by the way, is a complete lie. A complete lie. And we're going to be explaining that to you later this week when we cover the Democratic National Socialists of America. Yeah, they got a new platform. Nevada has made national news again as Governor Joe Lombardo is pulled over right off the Las Vegas Strip. Now, so apparently he was driving his Ford F-150, according to the body cam, and, just blew through a stoplight. That can happen in Vegas. That's not a big deal. And the Metro officer that pulled Joe Lombardo over in Las Vegas, the governor, was a sergeant. Like, he wasn't a rookie, wasn't a guy who'd only been on the job for 6 months. He's a sergeant. And really, I didn't want to go conspiracy on this one, but he pulls him over, walks up to the truck, and informs him, "Hi there, Sergeant so-and-so." I'm not going to mention his name. Like, it's not his fault, okay? But he goes, "Yeah, Sergeant so-and-so." And the governor says, "Yeah, Governor Joe Lombardo." And the sergeant says, "Yes, sir, I know. I'm pulling you over because you ran through a stoplight at this intersection here and this intersection here." And the governor throws up his hands and says, "Oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man." Roll the tape.
Hello. How you doing, sir? Good. Sergeant Pacheco, Metro Police. The reason I'm stopping you is for the...
Joe Lombardo.
I'm aware. For the red light violation back there. Your right turn onto Giles here. So, you're good to go, sir. Appreciate it.
I like Governor Joe Lombardo. Because guess what? If it was anybody else in Las Vegas, I don't care who it is, anybody else, and in fact the reaction could be more extreme, that's exactly what any other citizen in Las Vegas would say. If Metro pulled anybody in Las Vegas, I don't care what nationality, what political party, anybody else in Las Vegas, except for me, of course. Every time I get pulled over, I just hand them my paperwork and like, "Sorry, what can I do? You want to write me up?" But the governor's like, "Oh, come on, man." I mean, that's a new T-shirt, right? we need a new coffee mug. Come on, man, coffee mug. Mornings on the show. It's not funny, okay? It's not funny. Years ago, probably over 15 years ago, I interviewed Republican Mayor of Reno, Bob Cashel, in his re-election campaign. And he told a story of how he would traveled as lieutenant governor to Carson City from his Reno home and got pulled over on Highway 395 on his way to work during a legislative session. And the highway patrolman pulled him over because Bob Cashel had been spotted by the bird. Now, for those of you who, like me, go to Carson on a regular basis during the legislative session, that's when the highway patrol bird is flying. It's usually an airplane, sometimes a helicopter. But they are tracking people on the highway, and when they see someone speeding at the next on-ramp, the highway patrol will pull you over. And they'll say, hey, you were clocked by the bird. And so the highway patrol pulled Lieutenant Governor Bob Cashel over. And Bob Cashel started talking to him, and, the highway patrolman got a little nervous. He's like, gosh, Lieutenant Governor, And Bob Cashel turned and said, oh, no, you write me a ticket right now. I am not, If I'm guilty of something, you better write me a ticket right now. And he did. And I think Bob Cashel just paid it. Okay? Now, that's the best way to handle these situations. And I appreciate the governor's response. But unfortunately, somehow this body camera footage got out. This is an incident back in May. And, the governor's team has been hitting Aaron Ford as being this vacationing, meeting up with Democratic National Socialists in Washington to raise money. It's got to be almost criminal. And now here he is getting out of a red light ticket. Well, I've got the advice that's going to fix this, Governor. I know exactly how to fix this and turn it into a win. And I think you'll get more national news coverage if you follow my advice, Joe. Governor Lombardo should turn himself in to the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. In fact, he should summon the sergeant that pulled him over and turn himself in. He should turn himself in for the misdemeanor traffic infraction of running a red light. He should turn himself in. I don't know why you're all looking at me weird, but that's what Governor Lombardo should do. Turn himself in to the Las Vegas Metro Police Department for running a red light. And apologize. Apologize to just say, hey, you don't know what I'm up against with these Democrat National Socialists, Sarge. Sorry about that. Write me up. And then the governor should go to court. And go to court and plead guilty. Now, chances are the judge will be like, well, Joe, how about we do traffic school instead? And then I can push this, off your record and your insurance won't go up. And this is what happened to me before. And the governor could be like, okay, I got 20 hours during the next month or two. I can probably finish traffic school and report back to you, Judge. Because that's what every other Las Vegas citizen would have to do. Now, why is that important? Because how many people go into that stupid traffic court and make the stupid claim that, this is racism. This is systemic racism. This is the patriarchy. The only reason I got this red light ticket is the patriarchy. So it's not really about Joe. It's not about Governor Lombardo running a red light. What the sergeant did, a lot of officers will let many people off with just a verbal warning. Please be careful as you're running stoplights. Please stop so nobody gets killed, okay? And they'll hand you your license back and you'll be on your way. But it is bigger now. And I think what's important, Governor, is respect for the law. You have to set the example that, if you've done, go deal with it. Because we got too many people in this country right now who are making every excuse in the book not to do that. And you're not one of them. So don't start now. By the way, my advice these days is $221. I'll send the invoice to the governor's mansion. Thank you. Well, it turns out after the big scandal at the Reno Police Department with 6 senior people, including the police chief, dismissed and a couple under criminal investigation, it turns out the Washoe County Sheriff, Dennis Balaam, has been considering and researching consolidation for over 3 years. And that's because it's been an issue. Now, I looked into this over 15 years ago because consolidation does make sense in a lot of ways. But the fact of the matter is, the people in Sparks like their police department. They do. And the people in Sparks like their fire department, and they're not interested in consolidation. Now, we do have cooperation agreements. Around the same time, there was a fire out in Hidden Valley. Somebody's house burned down, and after that, Senator Ben Kiekeffer got them all to agree to a consolidation law. Not a consolidation law, but a cooperation law. So whichever fire station is closest to the fire has to respond. And I like that. But it's been very difficult to convince, the people of Sparks or even the people of the county. And then there is this other thing as far as salaries. Under current Nevada law, if you have consolidation, you have to employ everybody under the highest salary. So whichever agency has the highest salary, everybody moves up. Nobody moves down. That's the rundown. It's brought to you today by the Price Genie. PriceGenie.com. Sign up for the Magic Lamp. We'll be right back.
This is your chance to win a morning's mug. Just visit ToddTaxpayer.com now and register to win. You could be the next winner this week. It's your chance to win Mornings on the Show at ToddTaxpayer.com, the #1 podcast for critical thinkers.
Welcome back to The Price Genie at thepricegenie.com. This is the I left my business in San Francisco design. Shopping is extinct in San Francisco. Every store is closed or under lockdown. Crime, just general homelessness all over. It's that bad. This design looks great on baseball caps, dad hats, and bucket hats. The stickers and magnets look pretty cool too. Aprons, coffee mugs, coasters. Of course, it always looks great on the shirts, skirts, and dresses. Hoodies and sweatshirts, blankets, pillows, duvet covers, even shower curtains. Tote bags and duffel bags, greeting cards and postcards, even art prints, metal prints, and posters and tapestries. It's the I Left My Heart in San Francisco design. New items magically appearing every day. Subscribe to the Magic Lamp. The Price Genie at thepricegenie.com. Quality at great prices.
You are the show. Join the conversation. Your video comments on X and YouTube are welcome anytime. Or visit Mornings on the Show at ToddTaxpayer.com and leave a comment there. It's the #1 podcast for critical thinkers. You are the show.
Welcome back. Mornings on the Show, the #1 podcast for critical thinkers. You are the show. Don't forget, your comments are welcome anytime, especially video. Okay? Video comments on X, video comments on YouTube, they're both good. Okay? And we pay attention to these things. It's fun. This is part of the fun of Mornings on the Show, so that's what we're doing. You can also do comments at ToddTaxpayer.com if you just want to type something. And don't forget, if you want to win one of our really cool commemorative Happy 250 America Mornings on the Show mugs, signed by me, so you know it's authentic, go to the comments and just say, I want to win a mug. Yep. Now this is exclusive if you're watching the show. We don't, I'm not putting a link out there that says win here. Click here to win. No. You have to be watching. That's how you know. Time for the big story. Today, robots are coming. Data centers. Well, it's really taken over the political conversation. Not even political. I would say community. conversation because it cuts across political parties, but it definitely gets a community response in certain places. Certain places stronger than other. Utah, there's been a stronger, California, surprise, surprise. And also here in Nevada. Today we're going to take a look, slightly different look at data centers. And instead of talking or listening to the people who go to public meetings or who are activists or standing outside a data center with a big sign, Democratic Socialists of America. And no, it's not just them, but they're the funnest ones to get video of. This is a different point of view. And I don't even know who this gentleman is, and I don't know his name, and I'm not going to find out what his name is. But here's a guy who actually builds data centers. This is the guy who puts them together. And so I feel like he's got a point of view that most of us don't hear. And let's listen to that right now.
The only thing we know about the data centers is that they're not being honest about the data centers. And I have recently figured something out about them. They're not all data centers, for one. Some of them are crypto mines. And if you want to know how I figured this out, for the last 8 years, I've been doing fab work for my buddy's crypto mine as he has built that thing up to now a 1.5 megawatt crypto mine with about 1,100 miners inside of it. And a crypto mine and a data center, basically the same thing. I'll show it. Here's a video of the inside of my buddy's crypto mine. These are all little computers. They are 220 volts, running on the same amount of power as your dryer. These are not regular computers. They're full of fucking complex chips. The sound that the data centers make, that's how you know what they are. There are two different machines that a data center can run. GPUs, which are completely quiet, and then you have ASICs. ASICs are the crypto machine miners, and they are the ones that make that high-pitched whining noise that is about 50 to 60 decibels. And I've seen some videos, especially of the one out of Michigan, that data center that they're next to that's making that 60 decibel fucking howl, those are ASIC miners. That is a crypto mine. That is not a data center. But then there's another data center that's in Michigan that I just saw, and it's completely quiet. You can't even hear its diesel engine. So there's three noises that a data center can make. That high-pitched 60 decibel howl, those are fucking crypto miners. Those are ASIC machines. Or you have the fucking diesel engines and the turbine whines, like they have gas turbines and they have diesel engine generators. Those make that standard fucking noise. And then you have some data centers that don't make any noise at all because they're not running a generator and they ain't running ASIC miners. And that comes around to the whole thing of like, how does AI make any money? And me and my buddy who has that mine, we've been back and forth on this for months now, because when he saw that they were opening up these AI data centers, he was like, I wonder if I can switch over to GPUs and make more money running an AI data center than I could doing Bitcoin mining, right? And the answer was no. There's absolutely no money to be made with the AI GPUs. So you're like, what in the fuck are they doing? I think these people are not evil geniuses. They are evil retards. Just like the dot-com bubble burst, some people have said, like, this is all just going to fall flat on its face. And I would agree with that, because as my buddy has been building his mine, he has routinely come across other crypto mines that people would put up, and within 6 months they would go out of business because the crypto, as crypto goes up and down, it's like 1.5 megawatts that my buddy's mine uses. That is about $80,000 worth of electricity a year, or a month. So if you're not making more than $80,000 a month, you can't pay your electricity bill. And every time one of these crypto mines goes under somewhere, he would drive over there and buy up their mining machines for pennies on the fucking dollar, right? And that's the other end of this. So he's been looking into like the GPUs and the ASICs. That's the one thing that has throttled crypto mining, is there are not enough machines available. So like Kevin O'Leary's big old fucking data center that's out there in Utah, there are not enough machines available to even put into the data center. The bottleneck is the chips, like these NVIDIA chips. They can't produce enough. There are rare earth elements in them. One of them is europium. I've never even heard of europium. I'm really familiar with the periodic table. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I've never seen europium on a fucking periodic table. But all that shit exists in China, and China's cut us off. So all these motherfuckers building up, and we've seen the same thing in crypto mines. Like they would put together this huge crypto mine, but then they couldn't get their hands on enough miners to even fill it. So then you can't do the math out to make enough money to pay for your rent and shit, and the crypto mine goes under. The same thing is going to happen with these AI data centers. Like the AI is completely unreliable. Pizza Hut is now suing the AI company that they had partnered with, and Starbucks has just canceled their AI. If you haven't caught, like, get on fucking Instagram and look up the court cases. There's fucking, some of these lawyers have been caught using their AI assistant to write their briefs, and then the judge catches them because the AI just makes up fake case laws. Like, AI is not reliable. How many times have you used AI and it just straight up lies to you or makes shit up? Like, if they think they're going to replace people with AI, like, there's no fucking way. Not as it exists right now. And they can't get around it because, just like Elon has said, you have to make a completely honest AI. And they're not willing to do that because if you have an honest AI, it exposes all the fucking corrupt and evil shit that these fucking tech fags are fucking doing in the first place to enslave and fucking rob us all. But, like, I honest to God don't think these AI data centers are going to survive. It's going to be just like the crypto bubble burst. These idiots, for one, they don't understand the power required. Like, my buddy's 1.5 megawatt, that is a fuck load of power. That is more power than any of the towns around me use in an entire month. And one of the things is he can't even get any more power. He is topped out at 1.5 megawatts, and he's even had me build, like, shipping containers. I've built several shipping containers into crypto mines for him. But the problem is he can't even find a place where he could put one of those with just like 500 machines in because he just needs 1 megawatt. Can't even get 1 megawatt. So these a-holes thinking they're going to get a whole gigawatt, that is 1,000 megawatts. Like, this, the power doesn't exist. That's why they're running a lot of these on diesel engine turbines. Well, now that fuel price is up, there's no money into it. So they might be fucking running for a little bit. And that's why I think some of them have switched over to crypto. But even trying to mine crypto right now, if you are above 8 cents per kilowatt hour, you're not making any money because the price of crypto is in the fucking tank. These dipshits have not thought any of this through. And I think, just like, if you're not familiar, when they built the railroads, they actually bankrupted the economy because they stuck too much money into the railroads where it didn't come back right away. The thing is railroad tracks last for 100 years, whereas a Bitcoin mine, a crypto mine, or even a data center, within 3 years, the machines that you're running are obsolete because they come out with something faster. And, like, my buddies even hit up, like, the people that build the GPUs and the ASIC miners, and they're like, dude, we're behind. We don't have any stockpiles of chips. They are actually out of chips. So if they were going to build more of these data centers, like, okay, what are you going to put in them? Where are you going to get the power? Where are you going to get the water? These morons have money, but they have no sense. They don't understand logistics. It's the same thing as the Iran war. We have abject fucking morons that think that just because you want to do something, you can, and have no comprehension of logistics, of the material inputs, the time frames. They're like, how long does this last? Oh, there's just water comes out of the ground. Yeah, well, no, it doesn't work that way. There's only a finite amount of water down there. You can't pump it just to fucking the ends of the earth. And there's another thing. My buddy's crypto mine is air cooled. Like, that was one of the things. That's why I kind of understand more about the fucking crypto mine and the data centers, because, like, as he expanded that, I had to use my brain to figure out how much air had to come in versus how big his exhaust fans had to be. And there was some of that was trial and error. Like, we put some big hoods on the roof. And I've shown you guys some of that fab work of those big fucking air handler hoods that I put on the roof, and one wasn't enough. Then we had to build two. But it's the power. and the amount of power that they require and the amount of power to bring in, like, this is all going to explode and fall on its face because the dumbest among us are that's who's in charge and running this shit. Like, if they think the AI is going to take all your jobs, I doubt it. Like, I doubt it. Like, Pizza Hut just pretty much showed everybody, like, that ain't working. And how many of you have gotten on the phone, called somebody, and you get an AI agent, you're trying to talk to them, and it's just fucked up. It's just retarded. Like, you're not going to do that. Even the most unreliable human worker is more reliable than AI. So that's what's going on there. That's what I know about that. I don't fully know, like, what the fuck they think they're doing, other than they're just fucking dumb. They're just fucking dumb. So good luck to us all. Long live the Republic.
Wow. The first time I watched that, I had to scroll back and watch it again. It's really amazing. Because it's a perspective we don't hear. And I feel like that perspective is well grounded, okay? Somebody who gets up every morning at like 5, 6 a.m. and is working with their hands most of the time and talking to real people, building real things that actually create real wealth. This is somebody who probably has some insight to it. Now, look, he may not understand the economic implications or the political implications or, even the big business implications. Certainly doesn't understand what they're doing at Wall Street, obviously. He's not that kind of guy. But his perspective is very granular, is the word I'll use. Here's another gentleman, don't care his name, okay? He's not the only one with this opinion. But he's got some insights on cryptocurrency.
I'm going to catch a lot of for this, but it needs to be said. Here it goes. Crypto is going to zero. Not because of regulation and not because of a crash. Because of one thing that no one is talking about it. So let's talk about it. Last week, the NSA ran a test. They took the most powerful AI ever built. I'm going to catch a lot of for this, but it needs to be said. Here it goes. Crypto is going to zero. Not because of regulation and not because of a crash. Because of one thing that no one is talking about it. So let's talk about it. Last week, the NSA ran a test. They took the most powerful AI ever built. They pointed it at their own classified systems. The ones that are supposed to be unbreakable. And it broke into almost all of them. Almost every classified system, not in weeks, not in days, but hours. Let's back up a second. What is crypto? Crypto is not protected by a bank or a vault. It's protected by math. Math is supposed to be hard to break. Too hard for any human. Too slow for any team. That is the whole crypto bet. Nobody is smart enough. And they're right. And nobody is fast enough. And they're right. But AI doesn't work in human time. It reads a code and it finds cracks fast. Then chains them all together. Lightning fast. Here's the thing. Every smart contract is public. Billions of dollars sitting out in the open. The keys to Fort Knox. Daring for somebody to crack it. And for 10 years, no one could. That just changed. Why do you think the banks are briefing regulators behind closed doors right now? They're not worried about the next exchange hack. They're worried about the thing that hunts down with math in hours, not months. So here's the part that no one wants to say out loud. The wallet, the chain, the trustless code, all of it is rested on one assumption. No one can move fast enough to break it. That assumption is now dead. So ask yourself this question. If it can break the NSA in one afternoon, what's protecting your wallet? And maybe that's why the US government took down Mythos and Fable 5.
Now, here's the really weird part about the robots coming. It's really weird. I don't want to spoil it for you. Here's Bill Gurley, an investor, talking about the machines of loving grace.
In the past 30 days, read everything I can about Anthropic, and I've come up with a new theory. New breaking theory. The reason I call this the Dr. Frankenstein theory is the more I dig, I've met people who I dare say think it's their responsibility, and they're excited about building a species that's superior to humans. And I would just encourage people to read, as much as they can about Anthropic. Chris Olah worked on this thing called the Constitution. It's about 80 pages. It's hard to get through, but I would encourage you to read it. Amanda Askill, who is the chief philosopher, has started doing podcasts. I would encourage you to listen to them and listen to her language. And then Dario wrote this blog post called Machines of Loving Grace.
Loving Grace. Yeah,
yes.
I read it.
And it was based on a poem. And the poem is kind of weird. We should put a link to the poem. It's quite short. But the last stanza of the poem says, "I like to think of a cybernetic ecology where we are free of our labors and joined back to nature, return to our mammal brothers and sisters." I don't know what that means. Like we're going to go live in the fields where the mammals live. And then the kicker, and all watched over by machines of loving grace. Sounds like Overlord to me. And then in Dario's post, he says, near the end, and it's very long. You read it, Jamal. I mean, Machines of Loving Grace is very long, but he's talking about in the future, what are humans going to do? Because he believes in the massive abundance and UBI and that we won't have to work. I don't believe in any of those things, but he does. And then he says, it could be a capitalist economy of AI systems, which then give out resources to humans based on some secondary economy of what the AI systems think makes sense to reward in humans. So that's envisioning a deity of sorts that's going to break ties and decide what humans get.
It's a computational reward function for humans. It decides how much you're worth.
Yeah, so I don't think they think they're writing software. I think they're midwifing a deity here. And I don't know which one I'm more afraid of, the regulatory capture or the second theory I call the Dr. Frankenstein theory. It's more scary to me, I think, the second thing.
These are delusions of grandeur. Let's call it what it is. They believe that they are so intelligent. I know some of these folks, the Burning Man sort of offshoot of it, transhumanism, they believe that they're so powerful, these individuals, that they can create God. And that by creating God, they are like this Prometheus kind of species. It literally is...
Well, doesn't that remind you of something out of the Epstein files, right? They all have their own, they're all on their own AI model, right? Like there's the AI model that you and I get access to, but these people, they've got their own special AI model. It tells them certain things, clearly. Now, no, this gentleman, I'm going to get his name wrong. Never seen this guy before either. Interesting character. You got to pay attention to his language to kind of follow what he's talking about. Roman Yapalabisileba. I know it's not even close. Sorry about that. Roman, he's a philosopher on AI.
That's a great question. And what you're doing is you're asking me how I would destroy humanity. And I have many good ideas. But it's not what a super intelligent system would do. It's capable of coming up with new weapons, new physics, new poisons. Example I frequently use is squirrels versus humans. It's a big cognitive gap. Squirrels have no concept of how we can kill them all. They don't know about guns, they don't know about traps. It's outside of their world model. Likewise, they cannot tell you how superintelligence would specifically go about it, but there are many game theoretic reasons for why it's a good idea not to have competing species, not to have humans create another superintelligence. Maybe it just wants to do something with this environment and doesn't care about us.
But I guess the question would be, in terms of your certainty, why you believe that AI, if it becomes artificial general intelligence, why it would hurt human beings. What would be the way that you think that would happen?
So what I kind of started saying, it's not because it hates you, because it wants to do something else and it doesn't care about you. So maybe it wants to cool down the whole planet to improve how efficient compute is. Just it's more capable of doing computation in a colder environment. So if it freezes the whole planet, we die. Does it care about it? No, it doesn't matter. Maybe it wants to convert this planet into a fuel, fly to another galaxy. I'm giving kind of hypotheticals which are not grounded in anything, but The point is, it just doesn't have any built-in concern about your safety, your well-being. If it wants to accomplish something, and a side of it is humanity dies, it would not be an obstacle.
Would we not be able to write the preservation of humanity into the basic code of what this does?
We don't write any code. That's the thing. We train those systems. We give them data, all the data we have, all of the internet, and then it learns something from the dark corners of internet, from libraries, from stories, and whatever it learns, we're trying to figure out. We do experiments on those models. We see what is it capable of, what is it interested in. But we study it like we study biological artifacts. You find a new species of animal on some island, you're trying to figure out what it's capable of. Does it have a poison? Does it have some interesting social structure? That's what we're doing. We're not explicitly coding up those systems. So no, nobody knows how to encode anything like that into the existing models.
Did you get that? Did you follow what he was saying? I had to watch that one 3 times. And that's what I'm hoping about this entire episode of Mornings on the Show. It'll be so overwhelming, you'll have to watch it 3 times. Well, love to see some comments. Love to see some comments on data centers and your reaction to some of these individuals. It's not the usual newscaster, protester, political business angle that you're so exposed to pretty much every day right now. And that includes the news, newspapers, television, social media. There's a lot of data center compute hanging out there. But there's a fact of reality. AT&T has announced in Nevada, and it's not the only state it's happening in, but AT&T has announced the end of the copper phone line. You will not be able to pick up the phone at your house and make an analog phone call. Now, this is terrible for those trying to keep a secret, right? Like if you have an analog phone and you call an analog phone, they can't get you on that, 703. So that's over. Now, if you're an AT&T customer and you've got a copper phone line, they're going to migrate you to either a cellular phone that you probably already have or a fiber optic line. Now, this is tricky because, trying to get AT&T to put a fiber optic connection into your house, it's not as easy as it sounds. Some neighborhoods, no problem, especially if it's a new one or it's underground, much easier. But if you're in an older neighborhood, and by older I mean 10 years, chances of getting fiber from AT&T, not so great. Not so great. Could take a long time. Could take a long time to get connected to the right people who can actually put it in for you. At least that's been my experience. But that's it. The old telecommunications network, based on a copper wire, is over. And that's because the robots are coming. Hope you enjoyed Mornings on the Show today. It's really been great. Don't forget to enter to win by going to the comments section to win one of the America 250 cups, rare mug. They're also going to be available on the website, toddtaxpayer.com. It's been brought to you by the Price Genie at pricegenie.com. Sign up for the magic lamp. We'll see you tomorrow.
Fuck AI. Fuck AI. Fuck AI. It's stupid. It's so stupid. Have you tried using it? It's always wrong. Look, a lot of other respected graduation speakers in colleges around America are talking about you guys needing to master AI for the future. Okay? I'm here to tell you the mission of your generation is to destroy AI. Kill it. Have you heard how dumb people brag about how they use AI? They're always like, hey, did you know that AI can now read my email, summarize it, and draft a response? Yeah, you know who else can do that? Me. I can do that. You can't do that? How useless are you? Untalented people love bragging about using AI to help them draft their speeches and their scripts and their podcasts and their promo videos for UFC fights at the White House. which, to be fair, even if they had filmed that for real, it would still have looked like AI. But what they're missing is this. The creating is the fun part. And I know this platitude is almost worthy of AI, but the reason shortcuts to skip to the end aren't always good is because the journey isn't just how we acquire skills. The journey is the point of all this. It is. I think your generation's upcoming battle won't be humans against AI. That's at least 2 months away. It's gonna be people with substance versus people with shallow knowledge. It's gonna be mastery versus faking it. It's gonna be people with good taste versus tacky. I trust you will put in the work necessary to be on the right side of those battles.
Join us again tomorrow for Mornings on the Show at toddtaxpayer.com. Be sure to register to win a Mornings mug. You could be the next winner this week. Mornings on the Show at toddtaxpayer.com, the #1 podcast for critical thinkers.